Congresswoman, thank you very much for being with us and spending some time today.
Thank you, Frank. Glad to be with you. Sorry I can't be with you in person.
Well, we really appreciate that you're joining us virtually. Look, things are pretty bleak now for anyone who's hoping for significant action on climate, the environment. Is there any cooperation? Is there any bipartisanship at all up on the Hill where you come from that you can point to?
Absolutely. I agree that things are bleak, and I hear that every day in various contexts across Oregon and when I'm in Washington, D.C. as well. And so, in my years in Congress, both on the Science Committee and the Education Committee, I found that we need to continue the conversation and build relationships and find common ground. So, yes, there are things that are happening that are bipartisan. And one of the things I want to mention that is very bipartisan is it's called SOS Save Our Seas, and that is about cleaning up marine debris. That has been a bipartisan effort, but also the Bipartisan Oceans Caucus, which I've been honored to co-chair for the last several years. So you find common ground, whether that be an economic reason. Some people connect on a faith basis about saving God's earth. If that works with some people, but I find that it really helps to talk about what it means for the economy and the future.
What are you working on right now that involves reaching across the aisle?
Well, what we do is talk to people who understand that these are issues we must address. And I mentioned Save Our Seas, the marine debris bill, the Oceans Caucus. We have a new bipartisan co-chair of the Oceans Caucus who represented Buddy Carter, who represents a district in Georgia with coastline. So people who care about these issues look at their own districts, but what we do is talk about how it affects each district and how it affects the country. But even, I mean, I've spent years talking about why people across the country, even in landlocked states, should support ocean health. Because, for example, their constituents want to go to the grocery store and buy some great, Pacific Northwest salmon or shellfish, or go to the restaurant and order some oysters. And if those aren't, if we don't have healthy ocean, we don't have those products. So you talk about it economically as well, but telling stories really does matter. When we talk about policy in the abstract, like I don't go out to the Oregon coast and say, we need to fight the climate crisis. I talk about how we need to work on having a healthy ocean and how we need to have tsunami warnings and earthquake warnings and really make that local.
Language matters too, and I wonder if you would talk about this almost as a great case study, right? Blue carbon for our planet to the Coastal Restoration Act. Could you talk about language and what you've done with that and how you use that to appeal to other people and maybe address some of the conflict that's out there?
Right. Yeah. So the blue carbon bill is, as I mentioned, about restoring habitats along shorelines, rivers and coastal areas, estuaries, for example, where there are certain plants, for example, kelp, mangrove, certain seagrasses that really act as a carbon sink. And so when we have those habitats restored and those coastlines restored with additional plantings and restoration, it is a carbon sink that helps hold carbon for decades, if not centuries. So, but blue carbon means, the blue economy, the ocean economy, the water economy. But the word carbon sometimes concerned people, and particularly with some Republicans who thought it was somehow or another a restriction on what they could do rather than a positive step. So I don't mind changing a title. The bill still does the same thing. It reduces carbon emissions and helps clean up the ocean and stores carbon for a long time, which is a good thing. So the Coastal Restoration Act might mean we get the bill passed. So that's something that it's a messaging thing that I don't mind changing the name of the bill. What I want to do is get the work done.
What is the role of young people at a time like this in this country at this moment?
The role of young people is really critical. They have a role by telling their stories, by getting involved. Often encourage young people, if they're really passionate about a particular issue, to just dive in and learn as much about it as you can, but also speak up and speak out. Your voice very much matters. So please stay involved, speak up, speak out, and you will make a difference, and we'll get through this together.
Here, here. All right. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Frank.